Longest streak among active players, and that's second only to Green Bay's Brett Favre, who with touchdown passes in each of his last 35 games has now compiled the second longest streak in NFL history. Johnny Unitas is tops with 47.
You want anything from McDonald's?
North to south, east to west, above the field as we get ready for tonight's game in Green Bay. Bart Starr, you think back to Bart all the way up to Brett Favre and the current day Packers as they get ready to take on the Rams on Monday Night Football. 200 straight career starts. That's the equivalent of 12 and a half seasons. Brett Favre in the spotlight tonight as we go down to the field, and Michelle Tafoya. Michelle.
Well, Al, Brett Favre is the face of the Green Bay Packers. The kid from Kill, Mississippi will forever be linked with this storied franchise, joining Packer legends Vince Lombardi and Bart Starr. Now, Lombardi never got to see Favre play, but Starr, who won 5 world championships with Lombardi, has seen plenty of Favre's career. And earlier he told us what Lombardi might have thought about coaching number 4.
Coach Lombardi would have loved him because he embodies, I think, the great points which Coach Lombardi constantly stressed: the mental toughness, the preparation, the discipline, the commitment. All of those words, Brett is right out front telling you about them because of the way he leads. And as a result, Coach Lombardi would have loved the opportunity of working with him.
Well, Al, Brett may need to lead again tonight, may need to carry a lot of the load because, as you mentioned, starting running back Ahman Green out with the rib injury. His backup, Najee Davenport, is playing with a very sore right hamstring, and fullback Nick Lucci is wearing a shoulder harness after dislocating his shoulder last week. So a dinged-up running game, to say the least, Al.
And, Michelle, it will be Najee Davenport's first career start in his 3rd year from the University of Miami. He'll see immediate action because Jeff Wilkins will be kicking off for the St. Louis Rams. Green Bay will get it on this 30-degree night. The wind is not much of a factor right now, fortunately. Ferguson is back to receive the kick. Good average, as you saw, 29.2 per return. And the Rams have, in a word, been horrible on special teams. Wilkins puts it in the air. 14-yard line. Antonio Chapman brings it back to the 33. And Brett Favre leaving the bench and coming out onto the field. He's been their starter, of course, since 1992, when he replaced the Magic Man, Don Majkowski, who's here tonight to watch Brett make this milestone start. He's also started during that period of time 19 playoff games. So the indestructible one gets ready to go to work to try to extend the Packer winning streak to 6 games. Davenport is the back. Henderson is the fullback from the 33-yard line. And off the play fake on first down. Favre rolling, throws, and the catch is made. Short gain. Ferguson stopped by Archuleta. Here's the Green Bay starting offense.
Brett Favre, University of Southern Mississippi.
Najee Davenport, Miami. William Henderson, UNC.
Javon Walker, Florida State.
Donald Driver, Alcorn State.
Robert Franks, University of Miami.
Chad Clifton, Tennessee. Mike Wall, Naval Academy.
Gray Rugemer, Arizona State.
Marco Rivera,
Penn State.
Mark Tosher, Wisconsin.
That offensive line, in conjunction with Favre, has yielded only 5 sacks, and they have 3 backs out of the power I this time, but nothing there for Najee Davenport, who is stopped at the line of scrimmage, setting up 3rd down. The tackle is made there by the rookie Brian Howard. And John, the Rams having trouble defensively, and some new starters in tonight, including Brian Howard.
Well, and they want a little more heft in there, and they felt that they really weren't getting it from Damian Lewis. You know, that he was a #1 draft choice, and he really wasn't the guy inside that they wanted, and they figured if they would get Howard in there that they'll get a little more activity.
Lewis will rotate in. Howard making his first NFL start. 3rd down and 7. 3 receivers set to the right. Favre looks that way, goes that way, but too high and out of bounds, intended for Javon Walker. Jeremetrius Butler with the coverage on the play, and Green Bay is 3 and out.
And you know, one thing we always think of the Green Bay Packers and Brett Favre as a passing team, but over the years, you know, since they've had Ahman Green, they've become more of a running team. And then when they get the run going, then they have the bootleg, the play action, all those kinds of things. And we're going to see how much they miss Ahman Green tonight.
Brian Barker's punt floats to the 24. And Sean McDonald had nowhere to run, so he steps out of bounds at about the 26. And here's the way the Rams will start on offense.
Mark Bulger, West Virginia University.
Marshall Faulk, San Diego State.
Joey Goodspeed, Notre Dame.
Torrey Big Game Holt, North Carolina State.
Isaac Bruce, University of Memphis. Brandon Manumalayuna, Arizona.
Orlando Pace, The Ohio State University.
Tom Newton, Western Michigan University.
Andy McCollum, Toledo.
Adam Timmerman, South Dakota State.
Grant Williams, Louisiana Tech.
Well, you saw Faulk introduce himself, but Steven Jackson, who will see a lot of action, is also in the game. They'll start with both Faulk and Jackson, who was their #1 draft choice, a rookie from Oregon. And they send Faulk in motion. Bulger, the fake to Jackson, under pressure, steps up, goes long, deep down the middle, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Isaac Bruce. 2nd and 10. Here's the Green Bay starting defense.
Aaron Campman, Iowa.
Grady Jackson, Knoxville College. Cledius Hunt, Kentucky State.
Kabir Bajabia-Miller, San Diego State.
Hannibal Navies, Berkeley High.
Nick Barnett, Oregon State.
Niall Diggs, V, Ohio State University.
Amar Batman Carey, University of Arkansas.
Mark Roman, LSU.
Darren Sharper, College of William and Mary.
Al Harris, A&M Kingsville.
Harris most of the night will be matched up with Torrey Holt. It's 2nd down and 10 now from the 27-yard line. And the ball is given to Faulk on an inside handoff, and Faulk takes it up to the 31. The question with Faulk, John, of course, he's had a fantastic career. He'll wind up in Canton. He's in his 11th year, but he's in his 30s right now, and they have an emerging Steven Jackson. So the question becomes, what about Faulk the rest of the season and next year?
I think if Marshall Faulk is healthy, you play him as much as you can. I mean, he has 2 bad knees, and talking to Mike Martz last night, he was saying, you know, he's a little sore, and he doesn't want to bang him in there a lot tonight. He wants to get Jackson in a little more. But I think as much as you can play Marshall Faulk, as long as you can play him, you play him.
3rd down and 5 from the 32-yard line. The pass is caught by Isaac Bruce, who loses the ball after picking up the 1st down, and it is picked up and run all the way back for a touchdown. Ahmad Carroll, the rookie, forced into action early in the season. Their #1 pick out of Arkansas on a 40-yard return.
You know, you say what has been different since the last time we saw the Green Bay Packers. Carroll is one of those guys. Here you see the strip. Carroll is just playing zone. He just backs up and picks it up. Here's the strip right here. See, he had the ball. He's going down. He wasn't down yet.
That strip was by Joey Thomas. He's a rookie from Montana State. So the rookie strips it, and the other rookie runs it all the way back for the touchdown.
Right, and the reason Thomas was in there is because the Packers were in their dime defense, or 6 defensive backs.
There's the man who stripped it, Thomas. There's the guy who got stripped, Isaac Bruce. And then Carroll runs it in, and Ryan Longwell for the point after. 2:37 into the game at Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers cash in on the Ram turnover. 7-0. 3,000 plus looking on tonight. Green Bay on top 7-0. Ryan Longwell to kick off. Arlen Harris to run it back for St. Louis. Harris from the 6-yard line. Up to the 26-yard line. So St. Louis with the ball. Bulger going to work against this Green Bay defense. So Steven Jackson will be the running back here in this set. Yards allowed per game. As you see in those first 5 games, they were 1-4. 383 and change. Last 5, about 100 yards fewer. Now Faulk is in the lineup. They send him in motion. And they give it to him. And he's taken down behind the line of scrimmage by the linebacker Niall Diggs, fifth-year backer out of Ohio State.
Yeah, we're talking about stopping the run and how it always starts right inside. You need a big guy like Grady Jackson. When they didn't have Grady Jackson, you could run at will against the Packers inside. Look at the difference with him. He gets penetration, there's no cutback, and then that makes the back make his move at that point.
Second down and 11. Jackson's made tremendous difference since coming back into the lineup. Bulger over the middle, and what a grab by Sean McDonald. Bulger threw a bullet, and McDonald, a third or fourth receiver along with Curtis. Of course, you've got Holt, and you have Bruce, reaches up, good hand, 16-yard gain.
You know, that was an interesting thing. The Rams on second down sneaked in 4 wide receivers. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the Packers were playing in their base defense. So that's a matchup that they want to get. Usually you'll get a dime or 6 defensive backs against 4 wide receivers. When you catch them in a base defense, you can do things like that.
The rookie Steven Jackson is the tailback here, and then coming across the line, this is a free player, would have been, but Kabir Baja-Biamila had a free shot at Bulger, so Tony Corrente blows the whistle.
He was going unabated, you think?
I think so.
From the left side.
Defense, number 94, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
They will always stop that unabatement. Usually Kabir Baja-Biamila will line up on the right side, but you know, he's their best pass rusher. He's their speed guy, so they do move him around. Now the weakest lineman in the Ram offense is Grant Williams, the right tackle. So if you want to get a good pass rusher in a big spot on the guy, they will move Baja-Biamila over to the left side like they did that last one.
Mike Martz, mincing no words yesterday, described his offensive line's performance against Buffalo last week as pitiful. But so far so good, and there's a flag down as that one is caught by Bruce. He's tackled by Carroll, who's a little slow in getting up, but there's a flag downfield at the Green Bay 40-yard line on the other side of the field. So Carroll, who scored the touchdown, will have to come off.
Against an eligible receiver, defense number 31. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
I said across the field, and that was Al Harris holding probably Torrey Holt away from the play.
And you can just see Harris is right out here, and that's the one they're going to call. He's okay there, okay there. Now after 5 yards, you can't tell. I don't know that he did anything there.
Ticky-tack.
You know, unless they figured that first motion that he made was a hold. Isaac Bruce isn't going to drop this one. Remember last week how Corey Dillon, after he fumbled, the next time he ran with determination? I had that same feeling there with Isaac Bruce.
Injury timeout for Carroll. Off. He's replaced by the other rookie, Joey Thomas. Those two guys combined for the touchdown on the Bruce fumble earlier. Thomas playing in the dime. Now he's in conventional on 1st and 10, and the pass is incomplete. Steven Jackson, their #1 pick out of Oregon State. They plucked him from Corvallis, and he's big, 6'2", 231, a lot different type of back than Marshall Faulk.
Watch Kabir Baja-Biamila here. He's on Orlando Pace, the best pass rusher of the Packers against the best pass protector of the Rams. Baja-Biamila got a pretty good push.
Carroll is back in the game, so he misses just one play.
I saw in that tackle, his mouthpiece came flying out.
As he made that tackle, second down and 10 at the 32-yard line. Now Jackson showing good patience to the 25-yard line. Brandon Manumaleuna helping to lead the way. So with Jackson plucked by St. Louis, a lot of people thought, well, maybe Dallas should have picked him. Other teams had an opportunity, but he fell to St. Louis. Remember a few years ago, the Rams, even though they had Faulk, actually drafted Trung Candidate out of Arizona in the first round.
Yeah, because that position is so important to this Mike Martz offense. And I don't believe Steven Jackson is going to do any more than half the things that Marshall Faulk is able to do.
3rd and 3, and it's a quarterback sneak by Bulger. So they were lined up in the dime. They had 6 defensive backs in there, spaced out along the defensive front, and Mark Bulger sees it and exploits it.
And look at Bulger smile, and he knows if you have 6 defensive back and the center's not covered, if they give you this here look where you're going to get a free run there and you're the quarterback, you just take it. You just kind of just hit your center and then say, give me the ball. He looked out to the right. He knew that there was no one that could get him before he'd get the first down.
You don't think of Bulger as a runner, but he's been very successful and very proficient running the ball in his brief career. Marshall Faulk, flag. He takes it to the 16. Hannibal Navies made the tackle. Tony Correnti will give us the call.
And I think that's why, because you don't expect it. You know, I mean, if you did expect him and you were playing him like you played a Michael Vick, he wouldn't gain an inch.
Offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Andy McCollum, the center. 1st and 20 now.
That's Andy McCollum, and he's going to have his hands full on rundowns with Grady Jackson. Here it is right here. Andy McCollum is going to hold Grady Jackson. And again, you have to stop that bulk somehow. You see, he kind of steps with his outside foot to the outside. Grady Jackson takes an inside move, so he had to grab him with his left arm.
7-0 Green Bay, 8.5 to go in the period. Ball back at the 30-yard line now. 1st and 20. Quick flip to Kevin Curtis out of the slot. And Curtis gets taken down by Darren Sharper. Kevin Curtis played his college ball at Utah State, 2nd-round pick last year, 14-yard gain.
Yeah, and he was uncovered out there. I mean, that's one of the things when you have a Torrey Holt on one side and an Isaac Bruce, and they're always worried about those guys. Then you bring in someone. Now look, here he is right here. There's no one covering him, so this is just a free shot right here. He can do anything he wants to. There's no linebacker on him. The secondary guy is off about 15 yards. This is a gimme.
Packers are the 3rd worst defending in the red zone. And the Rams are there right now on 2nd down and 6 as Bulger throws to Isaac Bruce as he looked to his right, checked down and throws low to Bruce, setting up 3rd down and 6. Talking about Green Bay's red zone defense, they've gotten a lot better, as we mentioned, since the middle of October, but as you can see, they've already given up as many touchdowns in the red zone at this point in this season as they did all of last year.
You know, I think the reason they're getting a little better now is again getting Grady Jackson back. We can see the influence that he has on running in the middle. Now, of course, on 3rd down, he's not in this situation. They're in a 3-man line with a dime defense.
And on 3rd down and 6. Bulger, and down he goes at the 24-yard line. So the secondary did its job, and R. Cal Truluck, former Kansas City Chief, is able to sack him, and Mike Martz can only shake his head.
Again, Truluck comes from the left side, but you see the coverage down there. There's no one for Bulger to throw to right now. Look, there's Harris right there on Holt. So he's looking, then he feels that rush, and he has to bring the ball down. I think Hannibal Navies was the first guy that he saw.
Jeff Wilkins now. This will be a 42-yarder, and he misses it. So the normally reliable Wilkins on this chilly night hooks one. Rams come up empty. Still 7-0 Packers. Seahawks, meanwhile, with the Rams lose tonight, would still be in first place in the division. Mike Sherman, 5th year as the Packers head coach. He got the job in 2000. Mike Martz got his job the same year. And on 1st down, this is Najee Davenport. And Davenport is stopped and knocked down by Pisatina Isamoa. Gain of a couple. Here's Michelle.
Well, Al, I spoke to Najee Davenport before the game when he came out onto the field. He said he's been coming in at 6 a.m. every day this week, getting ready for this game, doing all kinds of physical therapy, everything from ice to heat to electric stim to massage. And it's the right hamstring that's bothering him the most, Al. Both hamstrings have been injured this season, and he's been nursing both, but the right is hurting him more. Whenever he's off the field, Al, he'll be sitting on heating pads.
He stays in the block this time, and the catch is made by Ferguson on the second down play to the 46-yard line. He's tackled there by Travis Fisher. First down, Green Bay.
And you know one thing, whenever Brett Favre sees a blitz, and this was a blitz, he's going to get rid of the ball quickly. Ferguson just comes up and he runs a little hook, and he reads the blitz. He knows the ball is going to come out of there quickly, and there it goes, and here it comes.
Backs fairly quickly up to the line in good rhythm. First down, 46-yard line. Huge hole for Davenport. And sore hamstring or not, a 14-yard gain. He gets into Rams territory. First down. Nice block by William Henderson.
Watch Henderson here. He's going to be the lead blocker, 33. They slant to the inside, so they just push everything down to the right. Henderson kicks out the end man, and Davenport just cuts right off him. That was the right play call against the right defense. They were slanting to their left, and he ran right off the slant.
Green on the left. Rib cartilage last week, came out early against Buffalo. We thought as of yesterday he might be able to play tonight, but the answer is no. And on first down, the pass intended for Ferguson is incomplete. Here's the Ram defense.
Leonard Little, Tennessee.
Ryan Pickett, The Ohio State University.
Brian Howard, University of Idaho.
Bryce Fisher, U.S. Air Force Academy.
Tommy Pollard, Florida State.
Robert Thomas, UCLA.
Pisatino Samoa, Hawaii.
Jeremiah Butler,
Dallas Carter High School.
Adam Archuleta, Arizona State.
Aeneas Wheat, Southern University.
Travis Fisher, Godby High School.
There's a flag as the ball is snapped. William Henderson, number 33, but a flag at the snap with 5:03. And that time they had James Jackson, who had come into the game, and two guys were in motion.
Offense, number 20. 5-yard penalty remains, second down.
That's James Jackson, the former Brown, who was released by Cleveland, and because of the injuries, they bring Jackson in, and on his first play as a Green Bay Packer, he gets a flag.
Yeah, and, you know, it's just hearing the snap count and you know, being in a huddle with Brett Favre, getting the play, and you know, it takes a while to adjust to all those types of things. It's hard to play a guy after he's only been here a couple of days.
Second down and 15. And this is Tony Fisher. Fisher saw a lot of action last week, and they had to bring Jackson in because Green got hurt last week. And then Davenport was inactive, and Fisher's really kind of a third down guy. And then they had another player last week, Williams, and he got hurt. So they went to the waiver wire and they found James Jackson.
You're right. And last week, Brett Favre had to throw the ball 50 times. And that's not the Packers now. And that's not Brett Favre. And that's not what Mike Sherman wants to do. Mike Sherman in this offense loves balance. And then once you get the balance, then you can get the play action type passes. And by the way, he's 5-0 since he's been calling the plays.
Third down and 9 from the 38-yard line. Favre guns it, and it is incomplete. Archuleta starts back the other way, thinking it was a fumble, but Donald Driver never had possession, and the reason was he was hit hard by Pisatino Samoa.
That's against 7 defensive backs. They had 3 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker, 7 defensive backs. But look how quickly Brett Favre gets back, reads that thing, and fires it in there. That is a perfect throw. You say he's only been sacked 5 times. Is it the offensive line, or is it Brett Favre? I say it's mostly Brett Favre.
Sean McDonald is back to receive Brian Barker's kick. Floater toward the sideline. Good kick. Spot the ball at the 10-yard line. Bolger and company go to work there. 4:11 to go in the first period in Green Bay, where the Packers lead the Rams 7-0. In the South, the mark of 6-5 on Sunday night. Steelers, Jaguars. Rams start this drive from their 10-yard line. 4:11 to go in the period. 7-0 Green Bay on a fumble return early in the game, and this is Jackson to the 19-yard line. Rams, of course, play at home, where they have the great speed and Of course, the weather conditions are always the same, and they're used to it. And Bulger is 16-2 in the Jones Dome in St. Louis. On the road, 7-7.
I was talking to him about that last night, and he said that he has to hold the ball a little longer on grass. He said he has to take an extra hit. He said when it's on artificial turf in the dome, he has better anticipation than he does outdoors on grass.
On 2nd and 1, this is Jackson to the outside. I think he's lucky tonight, John, in as much as the field is in great shape. I mean, you can come in here and you'd have to maybe have a couple of more hitches if this was a muddy track instead of what it is tonight.
Yeah, and he has some things going too. You know this defense of the Packers, if he can get him in that 3 and 4 wide receivers, they see how they're not able to cover that slot, especially if they don't go dime. I think there's some things that he can do here in the passing game, either to Isaac Holt or to Torrey Holt, or Isaac Bruce, or to any of the other slots.
Those numbers indicate how proficient Bulger has been in his career in the opening quarter. 1st down and 10 from the 23. Again, it's Jackson, so 3 runs in a row. Tonight, Bulger has thrown the ball 7 times. He's completed 4 for 58 yards to this point in the period.
You know, and they went 4 wide receivers, and they wanted the Packers, to think pass, and then they tried to run at him again. But what's the problem? It's going to be right here. And if you don't get that, you're not going to be able to run, whether you have 2 tight ends or 4 wide receivers. They didn't get that, and Grady Jackson just unloaded on Steven Jackson.
2nd and 9, and going over to the Rams bench right now is Tony Corrente.
You see the size of Grady Jackson, though, in that shot before we saw Tony Corrente. And how one guy isn't going to block him. I mean, that is a whole heavy lot of girth. I mean, and it's about 20 more pounds since Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, from that angle, he looks like Gilbert Brown.
There was no attempt to challenge the play by St. Louis. The play clock will remain at 19. The game clock will remain at 2:22, and both clocks will start on my signal.
Our producer Fred Godelli telling me the problem was that the pager went off, the buzzer went off. I guess Martz is so used to challenging early that the pager just goes off almost by
automatically. So well, it's about time, and the pager said, "Hey, wait a minute! I haven't heard from Martz yet. I'm just going to jump out on my own here."
2nd down and 9 from the 24-yard line. And that is caught by Steven Jackson. Jackson run out of bounds by Al Harris. So out into the flat goes Bulger to pick up a 1st down as the clock ticks down to almost 2 minutes remaining in the 1st period.
Great vision by Bulger, and when they watch him throw, most quarterbacks will throw more, get the ball up a little higher. But he has that thing cocked and ready to go all the time and down, and he just kind of slings it from his elbow. I mean, it's just right out there. It's always ready to go. And the first thing he sees open, that ball is going to be out there.
From the 35-yard line, Marshall Faulk is the running back. Breaks the tackle in the backfield and is able to get outside for a decent gain at the 44-yard line as he got through and around Niall Diggs to the 44, gain of 6.
And you can tell right there that Marshall Faulk's knees are bothering him. I mean, he got that ball, he had a little burst, and he got enough yardage right there. He thought, so he just went out of bounds. I mean, the old Marshall Faulk, and if he were really feeling well, he would take this, he would bounce it to the outside just like this, and then he'd get in the sideline and turn it back in instead of just walking right out of bounds.
Think about that. Marshall Faulk, 11th year in the league, first regular season game in Green Bay. As a Colt, he played in a preseason game here early in his career. Marshall gained maybe 1. It's going to be 3rd down and 3 coming up with a minute and a half to go in the opening quarter.
I remember one time I asked Marshall Faulk, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, if he was healthy, and he said no. He said, I haven't been completely healthy since the first play of my first game as a rookie. And there's a lot of truth in that, and I believe that if you play one down a regular season NFL football, your body will never be normal the rest of your life.
So you'll never be 100%.
No, you're never 100%. That's why I always laugh. This guy's 80, 85, 90%. No one's 100%.
3rd down and 3 from the 45. And that's a first down as Torrey Holt makes the catch and runs out of bounds at the Green Bay 39-yard line. Torrey Holt making his first catch, and it's good for a gain of 15.
This is where the Rams need some consistency. You know, we talked about how they really don't have it. The first time they have the ball, they fumble. The Packers get a score. The second time they have the ball, they drive down there. They miss a field goal. And it's just putting things together and then keeping them together till they get to the end zone.
From the 40-yard line. And that's a great tackle. Niall Diggs, the linebacker, coming up to take down Marshall Faulk for a loss of 2.
That's one thing this Packer defense does have is speed at linebackers. Whether it's Nick Barnett or Niall Diggs, is they can run, and it's a tough thing to get around them. If you don't get a blocker on them, they are going to pursue and get to you before you can get to the corner.
So a touchdown on a fumble return is the only scoring in the first quarter. End of 1, Green Bay 7, St. Louis nothing. Monday night. Green Bay is the site. Al Michaels, John Madden, Michelle Tafoya. We start the second quarter. 2nd down and 12 for the Rams from the 43-yard line, and the flip is outside to Kevin Curtis, and Al Harris and his pals knocked him down. The play has been blown dead. Harris running toward the end zone, but the play is over. Diggs and Harris were there to tackle him at the 38-yard line. 3rd down and 8 coming up. Take a look at the numbers through the first 15 minutes. 114 total yards for the Rams and only 38 for the Packers, but the whole story was the Bruce strip. When Isaac lost the ball, Joey Thomas stripped it. The rookie Ahmad Carroll ran it back in for the touchdown, and it's 7-0 Packers. And Bulger's going to take a timeout here. So it'll be 3rd and 8. 16 pretty good years here, and what a legacy. 3rd down and 8 now after the timeout. Bulger, deep retreat, throws, and then sliding and making the catch is Sean McDonald. What a play. Going down, the throw was low, sliding, catching it, and staying in bounds. Sean McDonald.
I think that's what Mark Bulger was talking about, is having to take the extra hitch, because he waited and waited and took about 3 hitches before he threw that one to Sean McDonald. And look what McDonald does, and he had to wait that whole time, because he is going to come up, then he's going to go in, then he's going to go back to the corner.
A little shovel pass to Marshall Faulk after the Rams got up to the line of scrimmage very quickly. Tackled by Cam, and that was one of those plays with McDonald where you don't know. I mean, you think you've made the catch. McDonald knew he made the catch, but you don't want the guys upstairs to have any opportunity to throw a flag. So they got to the line of scrimmage and ran the next play off in a hurry. And McDonald, meanwhile, 25 catches this season, 2nd year out of Arizona State.
And that's one of the advantages the Rams have now is, again, you have Holt on one side, Bruce on the other side, but they can still bring in McDonald and Kevin Curtis, plus they still have Marshall Faulk, so they have 5 guys.
Fake inside handoff. Bulger rolling, and then Bulger just throws it out of the end zone because the coverage was there. He was chased by Darren Sharper, and it will be 3rd down and 8.
That was one of the things Mark Bulger was saying last night that they put in for this game, is he doesn't run much, and here he is on a naked, they call this. This is a bootleg, and if you don't have a lineman in front of you, it's called a naked. Watch Grady Jackson here. You know, he's in there for the run, but he can chase too. I mean, it doesn't make any difference if there's a guy in front of him. He kind of chased it. He went to the point where he thought Bulger was going. Bulger saw that and thought, I better not go there.
3rd and 8. Crowd exhorting its defense. Bulger to the end zone, and it's too high. Intended for Torrey Holt. Covered there by Bao-Ju. And the Rams will have to settle for a Wilkins field goal attempt. He's already missed one from 42.
And I think that's where Mark Bulger wants to put that ball to Torrey Holt. You know, you see so many times that exact pass in that exact location on that end line, him throwing it high like that, and Torrey Holt jumping up and catching it. So I don't think that was that high. I think he was trying to get it up there. If he got it up there a little too high.
34-yard attempt this time. And Wilkins just does get it inside. Rams on the board, 12:47 to the half. Green Bay's lead is now 4. So Brett Favre, this milestone night, 12.5 seasons. Equals 200 games. And he may get a lot more.
You know, and of those 200, I think you have to point out that he won 131 of them.
Great record. And Chapman, it's taken apart by Pisatino Isamoa. So the Rams, with their special teams play so shabby, moving guys in and out. Tino Isamoa made an impact there. Just ask Chapman. Brett's wife, Deanna, and as most of you who follow football know, diagnosed with breast cancer recently. Michelle will have more on that later, but she's here tonight looking on as her man makes this milestone start, and he begins this drive from the 25-yard line. As Favre throws, the pass is low, and it is Donald Driver there who short hops it. 2nd down and 10. You know, last week we pointed out when we were in Kansas City, Trent Green and how great he was throwing down the middle, and not so great when he threw to the outside. Look at Favre. It's almost the direct opposite. A rating of 75.5 when he throws it between the numerals, as is illustrated there. But you get him outside the numerals, 107.1. So he loves to go to the outside.
You know, and it was interesting. The Rams were talking about that too. They want to try and force him to throw to the inside because of that.
Here's a little screen set up for Fisher, and Aeneas Williams makes the tackle, but not before he picks up enough for a 1st down.
Williams on the tackle. You know, we were talking to Larry Marmee last night, the defensive coordinator of the Rams. He was saying, you know, they have the wide receivers, and Javon Walker's making big plays, and Donald Driver. He said, but the thing that gets me is how often they throw the ball to the backs, whether it's a halfback or the fullback or screens or whatever. He said, but you also have to take care of that.
Davenport is the back. Picks up 7. Last week we talked about the fact that Trent Green had that huge disparity inside and outside, the biggest in the league. And then, of course, he threw a pass to the outside for a touchdown. And nobody has a bigger disparity outside to inside than does Favre.
Yeah, and, you know, part of that is the Packers and Brett Favre, they don't really do a lot of drop back passing anymore. They've gone into more of the play action pass, and Brett Favre moving a little, and part of that is his bootlegging or getting to the outside and then throwing to that outside.
2nd down and 4. Favre line even more time like that. Right. Henderson makes the catch, so he finds his man. Henderson gets free to the 48-yard line. 1st down for Green Bay.
The one thing they're going to do is they're going to block Leonard Little. They bring in their 3rd tackle, Kevin Berry, and you see him right there, 71, and he and Tauscher are going to double against Leonard Little. They're not going to let him get off the line of scrimmage. So Brett Favre knows he's going to have time on that right side. Plus, if he has to escape, that's the side to escape to.
1st and 10. Little gets a breather. Packers empty the backfield, but still make it a running play as Chapman takes it, loses the ball, and gets a big break as it bounds out of bounds because there were no other green shirts in that area. Had it stayed in bounds, the Rams certainly would have come up with it, but he fumbles out of bounds.
You know, one thing I like about this offensive line of the Packers is that they can run. Watch the left guard, Mike Wall, 68 here. He is out here leading this play, and they get out there and they throw. Of course, he almost caused a fumble because Chapman just went right on Mike Wall. But their guards, especially Mike Wall, he's a good blocker at the point of attack, but he's also a good blocker when he pulls and leads.
On 2nd down and 4, Davenport with that big body bangs his way to the 40-yard line of the Rams, and that's a 1st down for Green Bay. And here's Michelle.
Al, you mentioned Deanna Favre, and Brett took his wife to her first chemotherapy session last Monday. It's the first of 4 sessions she'll have over the course of 42 days, and then she's scheduled for 8 weeks of radiation after that. I spoke with Deanna by phone just before the game, and she told me she thought she was prepared for chemo, but nothing could have prepared her for what she went through. She said it was much tougher than she'd ever imagined. She feels pretty good today, Al. She says she's hoping to stay through the remainder of the game here tonight.
And we're all thinking about it. She's a great woman as Donald Driver makes the catch, tackled by Jeremetrius Butler, and that's a gain of 12. And you all know that Brett has played through just about everything in the last calendar year. That unbelievable performance the night after his father died last year in Oakland. Deanna's brother was killed in an all-terrain vehicle accident about 6 weeks ago. Now this.
You're right, and and you say that he can get out here on the field and escape. I don't believe that. I think that that he plays through that.
Fisher cuts inside a Henderson block, takes it to the 24-yard line. Tackle made there by Archuleta. We've been talking about Brett through the years. It's an amazing thing. And I mentioned before, I think he's going to get a lot more starts, because remember last year he mentioned or he mused somebody that he might be thinking about retiring, but you don't hear about that anymore.
No, and I was talking to him the other day about it. He says, he said, I don't know that I'm ready to face reality yet. And he said, if I were to retire, I would have to face reality.
2nd and 6, and that pass is just a little high for Ben Steele, backup tight end. Might have jumped just a split second too soon. Can't come down with it, and it will be 3rd down and 6.
We're seeing Brett Favre here do everything. We saw him on that slant. He threw that thing in there about 100 miles an hour. He throws a perfect spiral downfield. I mean, that should have been a touchdown there. And, he's thrown the short pass. He's thrown the deep pass. He throws outside. He throws inside. Tight ends, backs, wide receivers. He'll throw it. He tells the guys, you just get open. I'll get the ball to you.
Steele got open, mistimed the jump. Just enough. 3rd down and 6 from the 24-yard line now. And Favre's going to take a timeout. 8:42 to play in the first half. Tight one in Green Bay. Skid of games throwing a touchdown pass. Johnny Unitas threw 47. Favre is 12 shy of that. That streak is ongoing for Brett. That's for Brett Favre 2 seasons plus 3 games worth. And here it's 3rd down and 6. From the 24-yard line. And the Rams come across the line. Of course, everybody's pointing at everybody else. Tyoka Jackson is saying it's you guys.
I think Brett Favre gave him the hard count there to jump off sides. And he thought he had a free one, and he tried to throw it out there to the left side.
If it's against the Rams, it is still not a 1st down, but it would make it 3rd down and 1.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That'll make it 3rd down and 11. That's Gray Rugemer, the center.
Let's listen. You can hear the hard count here. That was that 53. He pulled that out too. 53. And that's the thing that got him to jump. But the guy that got jumped was the center.
You scared me. 3rd and 11, back to the 29.
That's what a hard count will do to one.
Driver starts in motion. Favre, good protection. Fires it over the middle, and that's Driver, the motion man, who gets free to the 11-yard line. He's tackled there by the safety, Rich Cody, and it's a 1st down.
He fired that one. Didn't you feel that Donald Driver was kind of just putting up a defense, getting his hands up there in defense? And again, they were in dime defense, but they double Leonard Little. You see, they have the pass protection out there. They keep him so he's getting no pressure from his right. See, Tauscher starts on him. Here they come out. They get a double on him. They keep Leonard Little right on the line. That gives Brett Favre the extra time he needs.
This drive started back at the Green Bay 25-yard line. Davenport to the outside, and he gets out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. Tackled there by Tommy Pollard.
I was just wondering about this, Al, what the miles per hour on that last pass was. here we're going to get it, because if he has that kind of lane, he can step up 60 miles an hour. I would have guessed more.
I would have thought more. Mile a minute. 2nd and 6 from a 7.5.
Because when he can find a lane like that and step forward with his left foot, that's when he gets the most velocity.
Leverage, 2nd down and 6. Favre throws, it's caught, and getting into the end zone is Bubba Franks, the tight end. Touchdown, Green Bay, and Favre's streak is extended.
You see Bubba Franks on that play. He came across the line. He starts to the left. He comes across in motion. Walker goes to the outside. He comes to the inside and just hooks. That's the thing that they get you. I mean, they put him on the left side. Then you have to adjust to the motion. And then you're looking out for Javon Walker. Then Bubba Franks catches a touchdown.
Longwell for the extra point, so the Packers go 75 yards, 12 plays, good balance, 5 runs, 7 passes. And Green Bay trying to extend its winning streak up 14-3. Brett Favre has just broken a tie with Dan Marino, most consecutive seasons, 20 or more touchdown passes with that one right there. So Brett with 11. Poor Dan. I mean, Dan's going to have to think about making a comeback. I mean, Peyton Manning's chasing his touchdown pass.
Yeah, but I think it just shows how great Dan Marino was. That every time there's a record or some quarterback doing well, it's a Dan Marino record.
That's Brandon Monomaliuna taking that short kick off the foot the foot of Longwell.
Now here's something here, Al. When you're Brett Favre and you have 200 consecutive games, you have your own helmet warmer. Now you've come a long way when you get that. You know, I mean, he can go to the other guy and say, "Hey, I bet you guys don't have one of those."
No, they're all in trunks, and he's in Tiffany's window there.
and he deserves to be in Tiffany's window.
Brett Favre. So that's 36 consecutive games with a touchdown pass.
You know, Bart Starr was saying how Vince Lombardi would have loved coaching Brett Favre, and I'm sure he would have. Any coach in any era would have loved to coach Brett Favre, but I wonder what Vince Lombardi would have said about the helmet warmer.
1st and 10 from the 36. That's gunned by Bulger up to midfield. Kevin Curtis with the catch. It would be like that old NFL Films thing where you see Lombardi and he's on the sideline going, "What the hell's going on out there?"
That's exactly what he'd be saying. And you wonder what Bud Grant is saying about that right now. Weather? What weather? Just go out and play.
On a 49.
This is great football weather. This is such a great scene. I never get tired of seeing Vince Lombardi, Lambeau Field, coming here, Packers, Brett Favre. It doesn't get a lot better than this.
Quick hitch. Torrey Holt making the catch, and the ball is now in Green Bay territory on a pretty important drive here for the Rams. They're down by 11. They're coming off a bad loss to Buffalo, and they're trying to move into first place ahead of Seattle in the West.
This is a pretty good battle out here. Torrey Holt against Harris. And the thing, we were talking to him yesterday, and he was saying that what he tries to do is beat him to a spot. We're talking to Al Harris about that slant. He said you read his release, you know the spot he's going to, then you try and beat him to that spot.
2nd and 5, pressure on Bulger, and coming through that time was Aaron Campman. Nearly unblocked. I mean, he just raced into the backfield and sacks him.
It looked like he wasn't ready for the snap. I mean, this whole thing was a bad start offensively for the Rams. And as you said, Campman is just going to come free here, unblocked. It didn't look like the Rams were ready, and they didn't take off when the ball was snapped. Looked like it was called on 2 and snapped on 1.
Campman was the only guy who knew the snap count. 3rd down and 15 from the 44-yard line. Little pump underneath, and then contact is made, but it's all incidental, intended for Isaac Bruce. Ahmad Carroll there with the coverage, and it will be 4th down.
That was one of the times that they just came after Bulger, and they blitzed 8 on that one, and they made him. He didn't take a 7-step drop. He took a 5-step drop, and they made him just throw that thing up and get rid of it before he wanted to.
Now, Kevin Stempke was just signed by the Rams to replace Sean Landeta, and this is a guy who grew up in Green Bay. So he gets to come home. He gets to make his debut in his hometown on Monday Night Football.
Last week he was in France.
He's a left-footed kicker, as you saw. His wife plays volleyball, so she was in France in a tournament as Chatton Fair catches it. And his parents, his mom Laura, Dad Horst to the right. Now they're Green Bayers. They used to come and tailgate outside, but they didn't have tickets.
You know, there's a lot of people that do that. They'll come and they'll tailgate, and then some of the people after the tailgate, they come into the game and some go home.
So where his house is here in Green Bay, oceanfront property, bayfront property.
Right, and Old Horst, he could almost see Lambeau Field from his property.
From the 17-yard line. I guess if you're named Horst, you have to be Old Horst. You wouldn't say Young Horst.
No. Old Horst sitting up there. He doesn't have great seats. When's the last time you heard in the NFL the name Horst?
Horst Muhlman?
Horst Muhlman, yeah. The old kicker. The old kicker, the old Horst, the old kicker. Here he is, way up there in the last row. That's kind of where they put Horst, and it's kind of where you put the visiting team tickets too. But I'll bet you Old Horst is a happy guy right now.
Very happy. His son has played in the NFL. As Donald Driver makes the catch and gets taken out of bounds at the 30-yard line, and that'll move the chains with about 4.5 to play in the half.
And just watching Brett Favre in this first half, it's so impressive how quickly he gets rid of the ball. I remember years ago talking to Troy Aikman, and he says, you know, that you're not ready to throw the ball until your feet are ready. And I think that's true of 99 and 9/10% of the quarterbacks in football. That's not true of Brett Favre. He's ready anytime he wants to be ready.
Toss, Davenport behind Henderson. Henderson with a beautiful block. And Najee Davenport in place of the injured Ahman Green. Sore hamstring and all. Just ripped off a 31-yarder. And it was a beautiful block. Henderson just did a complete obliteration on the way.
Right, and that's where it starts right here with Henderson. Najee Davenport is so big. Once he gets his shoulders turned and square right there, there doesn't look like a lot of guys that are very interested in tackling him. He weighs 245 pounds, and when he gets square right here, he looks like a runaway truck.
That was Antoine Edwards, and he knew Henderson was coming. He went down. And that pass is over the middle, and Bubba Franks gets free, and he rumbles all the way to the 10-yard line, and Antoine Edwards is there to make the tackle, but not before it's a 29-yard gain.
See, that's a good play call right after a good run, because it was a good play-action pass. So they're all up there to stop the run now. Brett Favre gives them a play-action pass, and Bubba Franks gets behind him. That's the perfect time for play-action pass. When you get a good run and they start telling each other, we got to stop the run, we got to stop the run, we got to tackle, fake that run and throw the ball over their heads.
Ball right on the 10, so it's first and goal, and Favre throws, and that's caught by Javon Walker for a touchdown. Yards, 2.5 minutes, and Walker, who's been Brett's main man, makes his first catch of the night.
You see, Adam Archuleta was on him there. Adam Archuleta just kind of got pushed off by Walker, and then he goes down. You see him, he goes down, and then Walker's able to come back in on that hook.
9th touchdown catch of the season for their leading receiver, Walker. Longwell for the point after. 2.5 minutes. They go 83 yards, and Green Bay is up on top at Lambeau, 21-3. On a first and goal from the 10.
You just see his vision there. He has very good pass protection. He finds a lane, finds the open guy, and puts it right on him.
Looks up to Deanna.
Anna looks down and says, "You're the man." 200 consecutive.
367 touchdown passes now in Favre's career. A little bit more than 2/3 of those from the red zone. That one included Arlen Harris. Comes out to the 28-yard line, and this now becomes a very important drive for the St. Louis Rams. An explosive team, but already down by 18.
Well, and again, it gets back to the things that we talked about earlier. Consistency. I mean, they can do it. I mean, the Rams can move the ball. They can pass protect a little, and they can complete passes, but they just can't do any of the things consistently.
They had that one great comeback this year against Seattle. I mean, that was the high point of their season in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10. Bulger starts this drive very nicely for the Rams as Sean McDonald makes the catch, and he takes it to midfield. Tackled there by Joey Thomas. Gain of 22.
You know, and they're that kind of team, and Mark Bulger is that kind of quarterback. He's a streaky quarterback. I mean, they know that they can do it because they did it against Seattle, like you say, and they have the weapons to do it.
1st and 10. Bulger steps up in the pocket, slings one to the outside, caught first down. Curtis goes out of bounds, but the clock starts again here. It stops when he goes out of bounds, but they will begin to wind it because remember, outside 2 minutes of the first half, they'll wind it when the ball is ready for play. There it is, as you see it ticking down here, and the Rams are going to be content to let it go down to the 2-minute warning. So they'll stop it at 2 minutes. The Rams have 2 timeouts on a very critical drive for a smiling Mike Martz. Maybe he knows something we don't. Meanwhile, his team is down 21-3.
I want to make a toast.
Was it possession for a touchdown or was it not? Finally, they determine touchdown. In Washington today, they are saying we was robbed.
A blast from the past. Howard Cosell and halftime highlights on Alexa's halftime show as Sean McDonald is going to pick up the first down here and go out of bounds with 1:54. So the Rams at a key point in the game, down by 18, really needing something to get them jump started here before the half, and a good drive developing at the moment.
Yeah, and Bulger knew where to go on that one. He got a blitz off the slot. McDonald was the slot guy, so he looked for him right away.
Sean McDonald with 4 catches. Curtis also has 4 catches. Bruce only 2, and Holt has a pair as well. And now deep down the left sideline, that's incomplete, intended once again for Sean McDonald.
Well, you know what they're doing? They're using Torrey Holt like a decoy. They know that Al Harris is going to be on him, so they're just taking Holt and just running him right to the middle of the field and opening up the outside. You see, he'll just come right in. Now that opens up the outside for McDonald. See, they just use him as a decoy, bring him in there. You see, he comes in, and now watch what McDonald can do. He has this whole outside. A good throw right there would have been a touchdown.
2nd down, 10, 29-yard line. Packers rush 5. Bulger backpedaling, throwing a little bit off balance, intended for Bruce and incomplete. Cal Trulak forcing the issue.
And that's exactly what he did. Trulak was right there, and Bulger couldn't set his feet, and he just had to throw that ball. He would have had a chance with it, but Trulak was pressuring him, and he just had to get rid of it.
Go ahead, John.
We're just talking about, you know, the Rams, how they don't run the ball consistently. They haven't run the ball one time in this quarter.
And now for the moment, they have to shelve the running game. Falk has carried 5 times for 9 yards. Jackson 4 for 21. But now it's all about throwing it. And it's caught out here by Kevin Curtis. Nice move to pick up the first down. Good juke step. Hannibal Navies makes the tackle. First down, St. Louis.
And Joey Thomas, the rookie corner out there, he has to make a move. He's number 24. When Curtis catches the ball right there, you have to go up and throw something, make him do something. You can't stand back and wait when he can get the first down like that. I mean, he made the tackle, but it was for a first down.
St. Louis takes a timeout. They have one left. Monday Night Football from Green Bay being brought to you by Southwest Airlines.
Always have to have that chili John's. You know, that's the chili on the spaghetti. And the other thing are the brats. I saw you in the parking lot eating a brat today.
I had a half a brat.
Oh, a half a brat?
Just a test brat. We have to work together for 4 hours. Well, you don't even think about it. Oh, no.
I had a whole bunch of those babies.
I'm out of here. 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. And movement, and the Rams with Orlando Pace, the perennial Pro Bowler, backing up.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
You meant 76, Pace.
Yeah, you know, that's what happens when you have that speed rusher, and he has Kabir Gbaja-Biamila there. He knows that on this down and distance, and you see him out here, that you have the speed guy looking to get in that sprinter stance, and you want to get started because you have to get out there on him. You do tend to jump, but again, that is inconsistency. That's part of the problem the Rams have had all year.
1st and 15 now from the 21. Bulger hanging in the pocket, throws. It's Bruce to the 5-yard line. Carroll makes the tackle, and they needed 15 and got 16. It'll be 1st down and goal.
Didn't you just kind of know that when they had Al Harris on Torrey Holt, that eventually they're going to go to Isaac Bruce? That means that, you know, the good news is you have Al Harris over there and Torrey Holt, but the bad news is you have your rookie corner on Isaac Bruce. Isaac Bruce has to win a lot of those battles tonight.
Bulger has now thrown for 203 yards, and they run it with Falk, and Falk is tackled by Nick Barnett, the middle linebacker. So they run a draw, hoping for some room in the middle. Don't find that. Falk, 6 carries, 10 yards.
And again, Grady Jackson wasn't in there on that play, so the Packers see that they're trying to run it, so in comes Jackson. Is that okay? It's 2nd down. They're not going to try and run again. I mean, they may get this thing in there, but they're not going to run it in.
True Luck is hurt.
It's a charge timeout. Green Bay is their 2nd charge team timeout.
Inside 2 minutes, as you heard Corrente express it, you have to be charged with a timeout. So that's Green Bay's 2nd. They have 1 remaining.
I think True Luck was trying to say that he was okay, that he could stay in the game. But once the training staff comes out on the field, it's a timeout anyway. And I think he has to go off for a play.
He's involved in the tackle. The thing is, I mean, they had to stop the play because he wasn't ready, and the Rams could have come up and run a play.
Yeah, he's right there. Let's see what happened to him. He's going against Grant Williams there. He's going to be in on the tackle right there. It's hard to tell what happens in a pile. You know, I mean, guys get twisted and turned and torqued, and it's like he's grabbing his rib area there anyway.
Technically, he could stay in the game because a timeout was charged, but he comes out anyway. Campman comes in for him. 2nd down and goal now. 36 seconds left. Rams have 1 timeout.
It's interesting. The Packers have their run guys in there.
This drive started back at the Ram 28-yard line. 2nd and goal. Bunch to the left. Bulger steps up, throws, touchdown. Bruce got free. Flag is thrown. Flag down. Bulger able to hang in there.
One thing about Mark Bulger, he is a tough guy. He will stand in there and hang in there and wait. You know, and he does get sacked. He takes a lot of sacks, but he holds the ball as long as any quarterback in the NFL.
Illegal use of the hands of the face, defense number 27. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
Isaac Bruce with his 72nd career touchdown catch. Isaac has been with the Rams so long. He was with them when they were last in Los Angeles in 1994. Wilkins now for the extra point. So a huge drive for the Rams, turning an 18-point deficit into what is now an 11-point deficit.
Yeah, we're talking about Mark Bulger and how he hangs in there, and he's such a tough guy, and with these patterns you have to hold the ball longer. Now again, you go empty backfield, so he doesn't have the protection, but look how long he has to stay in that pocket and wait before he can get it to Isaac Bruce.
And then Barnett came over, and Barnett was covering there, and then Barnett overruns it, and then Bruce slides to his left and makes the catch.
And Mark Bulger, by him moving up there and sliding right there, he bought that time so that Isaac Bruce could do that.
Bulger has completed 17 of 25 now, 207 yards for a guy, he's 6th-round draft choice by the Saints a few years ago. 18th consecutive game with a touchdown pass. We talked about Favre. Brett with 36 chasing Unitas, and Bulger's second among active quarterbacks. That's 18 consecutive, which is a year plus 2 games.
Just ask him if he felt that he finally got it, or when he felt, and he said this year, he said last year he used to think if Mike Martz called a deep pass pattern, he had to throw the ball deep. He said the biggest thing that he learned is you can call a deep pass pattern but still throw to a short guy.
Wilkins to the 6-yard line as Robert Ferguson pulls it in there to the 32-yard line. Well, we talked about Howard Cosell having some halftime highlights for you, blast from the past. But here are yesterday's highlights in the second highest scoring game in the history of the National Football League. Cincinnati against Cleveland. Chad Johnson with that reception. Kelly Holcomb had a big day. Hyden made that catch. TJ Houshmandzadeh pulls this one in from Carson Palmer. And back and forth they went. Holcomb to Antonio Bryan for a 55-yarder. And then it was wrapped up by a defensive play when Deltha O'Neal returns this for a touchdown. And the Bengals beat Cleveland 58-48 yesterday in Cincinnati.
It was like an old AFL game.
Yes, it was. The Bengals, an old AFL team, as a flag comes in. Fisher
in the block area.
Packers have one timeout, trying to get it to field goal range.
Personal foul, illegal crackback block, offense number 34, 15-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Well, there is no 34.
I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be right there at the bottom of the screen right here.
Walker.
It has to be Javon Walker. It's 84, yeah.
Crack back on Cody. Pushes Green Bay back to the 19-yard line. Make it first down and 23.
Brett Favre just shook his head. Doesn't have his chin strap button. That means kneel down.
Kneel down time. Packers in their history when they've led by 18 or more, and they did have an 18-point lead here, unbeaten in 63 games. They lead by 11 as the final seconds tick down, and at halftime it is Green Bay 21, St. Louis 10. And coming up next will be the Lexus halftime show when we come back after this message from the NFL and a word. Brett Favre's 200th consecutive regular season start as we go to the third quarter in Green Bay. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Michelle Tafoya. Green Bay had an 18-point lead, and then the Rams went quickly down the field at the end of the first half to turn it into a ball game again. 21-10 in favor of the Packers, who with the win tonight go to 7-4. They would own the tiebreaker. They would be on top in the NFC North over Minnesota. The Rams, meanwhile, would have the same record as Seattle if they win, and they would own the tiebreak, so they would lead in the NFC West. And we'll take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes of play. That one Ram turnover resulting in a Packer touchdown to get Green Bay, John, off and rolling.
Right, and I'm sure that that they have to gain some confidence off that last drive they had just before halftime, and They take that in, and that's what they talk about. Okay, now this is what we did. This is how we did it. This is how they're playing us, and this is what we can do to them. Now they get the ball, and I would expect they would do those same types of things.
Rams haven't had a chance to get anything cooking on the ground. Falk 10 yards, Jackson 21 yards, and that's only 36 on the ground. Meanwhile, Lamont Green not playing tonight. The great Green Bay running back, hurt last week, rib cartilage. Couldn't play tonight. They'll see about next week when they go to Philadelphia. And Davenport's done a nice job in his stead as Najee has picked up 63 yards and 8 carries. Arlen Harris is back to receive the kickoff. Rams will get the ball. Ryan Longwell will send it down toward the south end zone. Third quarter underway. Monday Night Football from Lambeau Field. Harris on the run at the 15-yard line. Gain of 17 on the run back to the 32-yard line, and here's Michelle.
Al, Mike Sherman told me at halftime that his team just needs to hang on to the football. He knows the Rams are explosive. They've shown comeback ability. He's going to continue to mix coverages against their passing game. Mike Martz told me that he's looking for his defense to settle down in the second half. He said, really, we just made so many mistakes. The fumble for the touchdown, the missed field goal. He says his offense is just fine. He wants his defense settling down here, Al.
And right now it's his offense that's on the field as they try to close the gap even farther. And they go to 4 wideouts out of the shotgun on the first play of the second half. Bulger stepping up, slinging it to the outside, and Bruce had it in his hands and simply drops it. Sharper with the coverage, but Isaac had him beat and just simply dropped it.
Right, and that's just a continuation of what they did at the end of the second half. And Mike Martz said, I think we can get something going here with Isaac Bruce, and that's exactly what they did in the first play. They get in 4 wide receivers. The Packers are in base defense, so it's exactly what the Rams want. Bulger throws a perfect pass. Isaac Bruce drops it. And over the years, you don't see a heck of a lot of that.
That's only the 3rd on-target pass to Bruce that he has dropped this season. He came into the game with 58 receptions. Deep over the middle, and this one is hauled in at the 41 of Green Bay by the big tight end who pays the price, Brandon Manumaleuna, and he'll come limping off the field after a pickup of 26 yards.
Manumaleuna went right down the seam on that one, but the impressive thing about it, it was Bulger's 3rd read. Here we see Manumaleuna again in that seam. Bulger hits him, but he didn't come to him until his 3rd read. He starts off, you see he's looking out there, he was looking left, and he finally came back to Manumaleuna.
Now out of the eye, 1st and 10, 42-yard line. Quick slant, incomplete. Kevin Curtis was the intended receiver. Bulger's been spreading it around. Curtis is the leading receiver with 5. McDonald and Bruce have caught 4 each. Torrey Holt's been limited to 2 catches tonight.
You know, and what that was a hot read. You know, they came on a blitz, so he had to throw hot, and he had to throw it right now. That's exactly what he did.
Big guys for St. Louis. 232 for Bulger. Falk, nothing doing on the ground. Bruce has caught 4. 2nd and 10 from the 42-yard line. Pressure up the middle, but the protection is there. And the catch is made underneath by Cam Cleland, who's the backup tight end, replacing Manumaleuna, tackled by Baja Biamila. That's a mouthful.
And that was...
Sorry, John, I'm hogging the airtime here.
No, it's just saying, that was Bulger's 3rd read again. Yeah, when you got Baja Biamilas and Manumaleunas, you know, that does take a little time there.
3rd and 3 at the 35-yard line.
Plus, it's cold as heck here.
Yes, right.
Let's get that straight.
3-to-1 ratio, passing to running. Bulger hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. Bruce looking around says, where's the flag? And there is a flag.
It was a late flag.
Ahmad Carroll with the coverage. So the rookie working against the longtime veteran, Bruce, in his 11th season.
One thing the Packers talked about is they really wanted to put a lot of pressure in their blitzing Bulger this second half.
Receiver, defense, number 28. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
There's 28 right there, Ahmad Carroll. And you see, once you get behind, it is tough. When you he grabbed him, he held him about 4 or 5 times. That should be more than holding. Ought to be like, you know, holding, and then the next thing, and then the third thing after is what Ahmad Carroll just did.
not the garden variety hold.
No.
1st and 10 at the 30-yard line.
It was your basic heavy-duty hold.
It's a first down. Less than 2 minutes into the period. Rams down by 11. Pump fake. Bulger deep down the sideline. The pass hangs and is intercepted by Ahmad Carroll. The pass just hung in the air, intended for Isaac Bruce, and Carroll, who scooped up a fumble in the first quarter and ran it back for a touchdown, has another big play.
Yeah, they tried to get him on the rookie. He ran an out and up. Ahmad Carroll was right there.
Big night for Carroll, the rookie, who scored a touchdown on the fumble return. That's his first career interception. Ball is at the 20-yard line, and Brett Favre and the Packers start from here. And that's dropped. Donald Driver dropping in, and we'll go back to the interception by Carroll.
You know, the big thing about it is he didn't go for the double move. Watch, Isaac Bruce comes and he runs an out move. Carroll doesn't go for the out move, and then when Isaac Bruce comes up, he gets that arm out there a little, and that kind of brings him in. Watch Kabir Gbaja-Biamila right here on this side. He gets the push, and that makes Mark Bulger step up. You see, he takes Grant Williams, puts him right into Bulger, and makes him stand, throw the ball, stand up, and then throw the ball. That's what I'm trying to say.
And not get as much as he needed on it. Meanwhile, Ben Steele can't make that catch, and it will be 3rd down and 10.
You know, you watched the game last night, and you saw, you know, Oakland at Denver and the snow and everything. You could see that that was cold. Here it's cold, but you can't see it.
You can't see it, but you can feel it.
Yeah. And probably Michelle has to tell you a little bit more about that.
That's right. What are we talking about? 3rd down and 10 from the 20-yard line. They empty the backfield. Davenport off balance. Look at him. And then Favre throws, and it's Ferguson, but he is, as the officials confer.
They got to call something.
Yeah,
call something.
They have to. They're right in front of the Green Bay bench, so they're going to call it a catch in front of the bench. Ferguson for the moment. But I have to think that Mike Martz, on a play of this nature, and we'll take a look at it here, Green Bay's going to try to get up and run the play.
I've always said that they don't have a call for I don't know.
Right.
We just saw the signal for I don't know.
Well, neither foot comes in, so they're going to call it a force out.
If they call it a force out, then you can't challenge
You
that.
You cannot challenge the call. They call it a force out. That's Davenport. So no matter how much Martz would have wanted to challenge that, and clearly without the contact, he wouldn't have come in with both feet in bounds. There was nothing that Mike could do there. When it's ruled a force out, in other words, the defensive back takes the receiver out of bounds, which is clearly the case here, it cannot be challenged.
What I would have challenged is the fact the officials didn't call anything. They just stand there and look at each other and talk to each other.
The other thing that could have been challenged, though, is did he hold the ball all the way to the ground? That could have been challenged. 2nd down and 8. Here's Davenport. So the only part of that play that could be challenged is when he has the ball. He is already forced out. That cannot be reviewed. But unless he has the ball all the way to the ground, it could be overturned. Too late now, of course, but that's the one thing that Martz could have challenged.
But I still think if the officials didn't know what the play was right when it happened, how did they find out what it was?
Good question. 3rd down and 8.
They talked to each other about something.
Yep. Right in front of the Green Bay bench, of all places. Tony Fisher is in the backfield. Favre throws, and that pass is underthrown, intended for Ferguson, who's looking around, and he wants a flag. So does Favre, but they don't get one.
You know, one of the things that Mike Sherman was talking about, Brett Favre, you know, you 200 games. He says, you know how many practices that is? That's 1,000 practices. And, you know, and then the training camp, the whole thing. It's not only that he played these 200 games, but if you watch him, every game, every play, he competes 100%. And even in practice.
And it's mini camps and it's homework. Barker's punt will bounce just into the end zone. So the Rams get a break there. They'll get the ball to the 20-yard line. 11:22 left in the third. Green Bay.
I think, you know, when we talk about the history and the foundation of the NFL, it all kind of starts with guys like Curly Lambeau, doesn't it?
Curly Lambeau, George Halas in Chicago. Got a flag here before the start. Action up front from the 20-yard line.
False start. Offense. Number 81. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you look at Mark Bulger, and he always looks calm. I mean, he never gets upset. He never gets excited. We were talking to him about it last night, and he said, you know, where'd you get that? He said, I got it from my parents. He said, when I used to play a game, he said, me and my brothers, we played basketball, football, baseball. He said they never critiqued how we played. They critiqued how we acted.
Steven Jackson. And he comports himself beautifully. But, John, the downside is, like Mike Martz's coach is always saying, you know what? Guys get away with vicious hits on Mark Bulger and don't get called for it. And one of the reasons may be that Mark never really complains to the officials.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's one of those guys who won't complain, and he says he never has complained. But, you know, because he stands in the pocket so long and holds the ball so long, he takes as many or more hits than any quarterback in the league. And it's not just the sacks. I mean, it's the times that he's hit after he throws the ball.
2nd and 9 now from the 21-yard line. Green Bay 21, St. Louis 10. Early in the third quarter, Bulger rifles one over the middle, and a great sliding grab is made by Torrey Holt for a first down. So Torrey Holt tonight has now caught 3 passes for a total of 37 yards.
They come on a corner blitz on that. Al Harris, who usually covers Torrey Holt, comes on a blitz, so Holt is running his pattern against a safety. Mark Bulger sees it, Holt sees it, and knows that he has to come under control there, so he just goes into a slide.
1st and 10 up at the 39-yard line. Bruce in motion. Jackson. Steven Jackson, some tough running. Number 1 draft choice out of Oregon State to the 50-yard line and a first down. Recap tonight, Brett Favre, 2 touchdown passes. Mark Bulger, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 256 through the air. Carroll, that 40-yard fumble return for a touchdown, and that 1 pick on a pass intended for Isaac Bruce. Ball at midfield. The Rams tonight have gained 292 yards to this point, but just 1 touchdown. Flag, no play.
Flag on a play.
False start. Offense. Number 81. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's Holt's 2nd penalty on this drive. Well, somebody's going to win that NFC West right now. If the Rams lose this game, Seattle remains in first place. We'll have them on Monday night next week hosting Dallas. Big difference, of course, this year between the AFC and the NFC. It's going to be a lot easier to get in the NFC. A team that's 4-7 is only going to be a game out when this weekend is over. 1st and 15 now. And that's caught, and that's Torrey Holt trying to atone for that penalty, and he picks up 14 yards to the 41-yard line. Tackle there by Al Harris.
And he does it all on the release. Al Harris gave him the inside, and that's the thing that you can't do. When a receiver is out that wide, you have to take away the inside. Torrey Holt gave him a little fake to the outside. Al Harris went for it, and then Holt came right underneath him.
Torrey, big play. Holt, North Carolina State. What a compliment, what a bookend he's been to Isaac Bruce. over the last 2 years. 2nd down and 2 from the 42-yard line. Jackson looking for some room, and he gets taken down at the 41-yard line. Grady Jackson is the first guy to hit him. Cameron is also there, 3rd and 1.
You know, Torrey Holt runs a pattern that I think he's the only guy in the NFL that runs it, and it's off a corner. I mean, you fake to the post, then you fake to the corner, then you go up. See, right there. And they haven't run that pattern yet tonight, but there's no one that runs it better than he does, and I don't think there's anyone that can run it like him. You make them think you're going post, then you make them think you're going corner, and you finally go up.
3rd down and 1 from the 40-yard line. And here's Jackson. And Jackson with some nifty running, and he fumbles the ball at the 26-yard line. Green Bay has it. Kenny Peterson comes up with it. So a beautiful run. Jackson showing patience, cutting back, picked up a big 1st down. Niall Diggs is the guy who was able to knock the ball away.
St. Louis had called timeout. Timeout, St. Louis.
And now, wow. Before the play, St. Louis had called a timeout.
Right, and that's the new rule this year that the head coach from the sideline can call timeout.
Even the Rams didn't know it because they ran the play. They ran a beautiful play, but Martz had called a timeout from the sideline, and Sherman wants to know what's that all about. And as John just said, a brand new rule. The coach, and it wasn't this way in the past, can call a timeout. Boy, were they lucky. Now, the rule that we talked about just came into play. Mike Martz calls a timeout. You'll see him. He's at about the 35-yard line. There he is. Now they're going to send a man in motion, and there's Martz saying timeout. Ron Blum is the nearest official. He's the line judge. He calls for the timeout. The rule says, even as you see, Blum makes the call after the play starts, but the rule says if the head coach verbally requests a timeout, play is dead at that point. 3rd down and 1 now. Here we go again, and Jackson is very close to a 1st down.
I think Mike Martz got away with one, though, Al. I think that he called timeout after the ball was snapped.
Well, he calls the timeout. Blum clearly makes the call as the line judge after the snap. But in the rule book, if you verbally request a timeout, and here's after the play. Now you're going to see this. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
My new buddy.
When you smile and say thank you and pat an official on the back, I think you just bought one.
And they bought a 1st down, and they bought no turnover. And that is caught and tackled immediately is Torrey Holt by Al Harris.
I'll say this, Al Harris is doing a good job on Torrey Holt, because Torrey Holt, as he calls himself, big play, is a big play guy. But he's not giving him big plays. I mean, he's caught some slants. He's going on this cross and stuff like this. But Al Harris is right there with him. And when he catches the ball, Torrey Holt's going down.
Former Eagle.
Torrey Holt has 5 catches, but for only 51 yards. That's not big play.
2nd down and 10 from the 40-yard line. Bulger takes the snap out of the shotgun, gets it off quickly. Sean McDonald makes the grab, and is taken down about 3 yards short of the 1st down by Al Harris.
That's the thing. We talk about Mark Bulger and how he stands in the pocket and holds the ball, but he can also get rid of it quickly on a hot read like he just did there. Look at this. I mean, the time of possession, they're killing them. They just don't have that consistency. You see that hot read there. He sees the blitz coming, knows that it's not going to be picked up, and he has to get rid of the ball before the blitzer gets there.
3rd down and 5, and now the Rams are going to take another timeout. So the Rams, with 20 minutes left in the game, are down to only 1 timeout and trailing by 11. Night football. 3rd down and 5 now for the Rams. Timeout. Ball at the 35-yard line. And Bulger throws slant. Bruce makes the catch, picks up the 1st down to the 27-yard line, covered by the rookie Joey Thomas.
You know, you see Isaac Bruce catch that one, and it doesn't look like much, but that's a tough catch. It was on his back shoulder. You know, when you're running one way and then it's thrown behind you and you just reach back and grab it like that, again, it's not going to go down as any big, great play, but that's a pretty good thing when you can be running full speed to your left and catch the ball in your back shoulder like that.
Isaac Bruce has been doing it for 11 years. Second round choice of the Rams when they were in LA out of the University of Memphis. First and 10, 28-yard line. Inside handoff here. That goes to Marshall Faulk, and he's taken down by Cledius Hunt. And Marshall, who last week was a non-factor at Buffalo, is pretty much the same tonight. That's 7 carries for 6 yards.
You know, we're talking to Bob Slowick, the defensive coordinator of the Packers, and he was talking about the runs that the Rams have, and they have a lot of trick-type runs like that. I mean, Marshall Faulk was lined up like a slot or a flanker, and he came on a reverse type of thing. I mean, they don't just run the, you know, the counters and the leads and those type of plays. They have a lot of trick-type runs.
March, the mad scientist. 2nd and 14. From the 31, Bulger throws, and that's behind Isaac Bruce.
That was too far back on that back shoulder, wasn't it?
Right.
You know, sometimes that's an option thing where a receiver will start up, and if the defender's inside, he'll run out, and if the defender's outside, he'll run in. That looked like an option type of thing, and Bulger looked like expected Isaac Bruce to go out.
Third and 14. Crowd rising at Lambeau. Pressure is on. Catch is made. But it's Sean McDonald. He is short of the first down and short by about 6 yards as he catches it at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, they come on a blitz here, and Bulger has to get rid of the ball quickly, and he throws a bad pass out here. So Sean McDonald, in the act of catching the ball, you see the blitz coming, and in the act of catching the ball, he had to run himself right out of bounds.
So now Wilkins will attempt about a 42-yard field goal. Made one from 34, just barely inside the upright. Missed from 42. This is another 42-yarder. Dane Looker will hold it. Chris Massey will snap it, and it's a fake, and the pass goes to Wilkins, but Green Bay is right there, and then the ball is coughed up. Looker can't pick it up. Sharper does, but the play is blown dead at the 29-yard line. So Sharper will run to Appleton, but it won't count because the play was whistled dead at the 29-yard line. But still, the Rams try to trick the Packers. It doesn't work in a situation where a 42-yard field goal would have made it a one-possession game. Instead, the lead remains 11, and Green Bay gets it at the 29. LA, the middle game, Colorado and Oklahoma, the late game, as Najee Davenport is off to the races all the way to the 34-yard line of Green Bay. So after the Rams faked the field goal, play blown dead when forward progress was stopped at the 29, and back come the Packers with a 37-yard burst by Davenport.
Yeah, and here's another time when they catch him in the right play. You watch the Ram defense is going to be slanting to their right. Again, it's the same thing. They kick out that end man, and Najee Davenport just takes it in that hole. You see they kick out Tommy Polley. The line is slanting away from that. Archuleta misses the tackle, and when Davenport gets his shoulder square, he is a load.
Najee again, and he's over 100 yards. Picks up 4 more there. Najee Davenport making his first career start, and only because of the injury to Amon Green, now has 104 yards and carries of 31 and 37 tonight.
And you wonder how he got 104 yards. It seems like this whole game it's been the Rams offense out there. I mean, it's Brett Favre's 200th game and all those kinds of things, and it seems like we've seen very little of them, doesn't it?
It does. I was just thinking the same thing. Sometimes a guy will sneak up on you and you go, what? 100 yards?
Where'd that come from?
How'd that happen? 2nd and 7. Tony Fisher in the backfield. from the 31-yard line. Favre, and that's behind Driver, but he makes the catch. A fabulous one-handed catch by Donald Driver.
And that's the same thing that Brett Favre does. We're talking about Mark Bulger. Again, it's a hot read. It's a blitz coming to that side. He knows he has to get rid of the ball. He throws it right into the face of the blitz, throws it a little behind Donald Driver. Driver just reaches back with his right hand and brings it in.
15-yard gain. Ball at the 17-yard line, first down. Favre with time to the corner, caught, touchdown, Donald Driver. He beats Aeneas Williams. Here comes the Lambeau leap. And what a turn of events. If the Rams kick the field goal, and Wilkins is one of the best from 42 yards, it's a one-possession game. Instead, they fake. It doesn't fool Green Bay, and a couple of minutes later, we're back to it being, in a moment, an 18-point game. And Longwell makes that official. 28-10.
Let's watch Donald Driver here. He's lined up right here, kind of in a slot position behind the other receiver. So he's going to come out second. And Aeneas Williams is going to cover him. He tries to undercut it, and Brett Favre just throws it right over Aeneas Williams' head. Donald Driver, 2 plays in a row. First of all, that great catch on the slant, and then coming back with a corner for the touchdown. And the old leap. You're always happy, I think, when you see them come back after they go in.
Three touchdown passes for Favre tonight. 180 yards on his 13 completions. And the Green Bay Packers, when we last saw them on a Monday night, it was October 11th, and you had that sight, people leaving Lambeau in the third quarter. The Titans killed them that night. They were 1-4. It looked like the end of the era, and that was the scene on October 11th. And since then, no losses. Tonight, same shot.
No, they're here for the duration tonight. They know that this is a special night for the Packers, and it's a special night for Brett Favre. Plus, they're beating the heck out of the Rams.
They are. Marlon Harris. John, I just want to say something about Dick Ebersol, because those of us in this business, and he's a giant of this industry, and he is a man with hundreds of friends in the business. We are just heartsick, as most of you know. Dick seriously injured in a plane crash in Montrose, Colorado yesterday. He survived. His son Charlie survived. But his younger son, Teddy, the coroner saying today, 99% sure they've recovered the body. They're just awaiting dental and other medical records. Pilot was killed. Flight attendant was killed. Co-pilot in a burn unit in Denver. And we are just heartsick over what happened yesterday. And our prayers and our thoughts to Dick and Susan and the Ebersol family and the families of the flight crew. Just a tragedy. As Marshall Faulk gets taken down at the 17-yard line.
As you say, Dick Ebersol is a giant in this industry, and I've had the opportunity to work with him, and he's just not only a giant in the industry, but a giant as a person. And as you say, all our prayers and thoughts and feelings go out to he and his family.
Second down and 15 from the 18-yard line as Bulger throws, and reaching up and making the catch is Kevin Curtis up to the 30-yard line, taken down by Nick Barnett. Bulger now approaching 300 yards. That's 297 for Mark, but down by 18 points.
Packers don't have enough guys in there. Now they do.
Now they've got 11 on the field. It's third down and 3 from the 30-yard line. Faulk He's got the first down up to the 36-yard line.
Yeah, I think the thing that we talked about all night with this Ram team is just so evident here that they have good players. You know, as you said, you know, in the beginning, that, you know, they have good players. They can do things, but they just can't consistently do them. I mean, they get something going, and then they get stopped. They get a penalty. They try a trick play. It doesn't work. They just can't consistently move the ball down the field, but they can move it down the field very well.
And they're on the cusp of going 5-6 right now because we go to the fourth quarter, and Green Bay is on top 28-10. Bay, Al Michaels, John Madden, and Michelle Tafoya on this very chilly night. ESPN Sports Center will follow the game, recapping this one, all the other sports news of the day. Green Bay on top 28-10. Packers trying to make it 6 straight after a 1-4 start. 2nd and 10. Bulger falls down, tripped as he threw, incomplete. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, Al, you mentioned the last time we were here in Green Bay, the Packers hitting rock bottom, dropping to 1-4 with that loss to Tennessee, and in a town where the press loves to cheer for its team. They love to support the Packers. Well, the headlines the following Tuesday morning tell the story. I asked Mike Sherman what he needed to do, what his first priority was after that loss, and he said, we had to keep everyone on the boat. We couldn't let anybody jump ship. And he told his guys, look, you were the ones that dug us into this hole. You've got to dig us out. And now he says they've been dug out. They've got to stay out. And if tonight's any indication, they're going to stay out.
And doing it without Amon Green, too. Doing it without one of the best running backs in the league. 3rd and 10. Bruce makes the catch on the dead run. He's inside the 30. He's chased by Harris. And Harris is able to tackle him at about the 8-yard line. So Isaac Bruce single-handedly trying to get his ball club back in the game. 56-yard reception.
Yeah, and the reason he was able to run like that and catch a ball in the run is you'll see the Packers come on a blitz. They bring 8 guys. So once he gets by and he gets over that first group of guys, he has a free run until Al Harris gets there. That's the disadvantage of bringing 8. If you get the ball over those 8, you only have 3 left that you have to beat.
First and goal from the 8-yard line. They split Falk to the left. He makes the catch. He beats the tackle and scores. Mark Roman is there. So Marshall Falk split out as a wide receiver, makes the catch, and very quickly, in 2 minutes and 25 seconds, the Rams go 77 to try to climb back in it.
Right, it was a quick snap, and look, Marshall Falk is out there. There's no defender there. They quick snap the ball and just throw it out to him. He makes one tackler miss and takes it in. That's heads-up play. Heads up by Marshall Falk. Heads up by Mark Bulger, seeing that there was no one out there and getting that ball snapped quickly.
Wilkins for the extra point, looking to put it down. That's the 135th touchdown of Marshall Falk's career, 4th all time. It's an 11-point game again. 28-17 Packers. It started out at 30 degrees. It's now 26 degrees. As the Rams kick off, it's a short kick by Wilkins, and it's fielded by Kenny Peterson, a linebacker who gets taken down to the 25, back to the key play on that last series.
Yeah, I was surprised that the Packers thought that they had to go on an all-out blitz. It's 3rd and 10. Watch this. They bring 8, which means that you only have 3 back here. And here's Isaac Bruce, and he's the guy that's going to catch the ball on the run. But you see the problem. Once you bring the 8, then you have your 3 receivers against 3 defenders. And if you catch the ball on the run, then that's a heck of a play that Al Harris has to make.
56 yards on 3rd and 10 to get St. Louis back in the football game. Davenport rolls his way up to the 27-yard line.
And you wonder why, you know, with an 18-point lead, that you didn't want to just play him in coverage and, you know, and take some time off the clock and make them do it the hard way. But they decided they wanted to go after him. And right now, St. Louis needs a turnover. I mean, that's one of their problems this year. Last year, they had 31 turnovers. This year so far, they only have 10. and they have none tonight.
They led the league last year in turnovers. 2nd down and 9 underneath Davenport. And Davenport fights his way close to a first, but a little bit short. Key 3rd and 1 coming up right now. So Najee Davenport, the backup to Ahman Green, who'd been hurt. We talked about his hamstrings earlier. But tonight, runs of 37 and 31. He's gained 105 yards. He's also caught one pass for 8 yards, so he has more than adequately filled in for Ahman Green.
You know, and they were great play calls. They caught the Rams defensive line slanting one way. Then they only had one defender on that outside. William Henderson would kick that guy out, and there was a big hole for Najee Davenport, and the first guy wouldn't get to him until he was about 10 or 12 yards downfield.
Well, now let's see if he can do a Green imitation, because when it comes to 3rd and 1, which is the case here, Ahman Green is as good as anybody in the league over the past few seasons. He almost always picks up a first down in this situation. He ranks near the top of the list. And now he's on the bench as Davenport is in the game. In the Green role. 3rd and inches. Najee. Well, there's a little bit of Green for you. To the 43-yard line, and Ahman can appreciate that first down.
I think anytime you're a 245-pound tailback, you're made for that.
First down for Green Bay. A little Monday Night Trivia. Do you know who caught the first completion of Brett Favre's NFL career? Well, he's a future Hall of Famer, clearly. First ballot. He never caught another pass. That was it. I'll tell you after the play. 1st and 10. In fact, we even have it on video for you. Deep into the archives. Favre throws, and that's incomplete. Intended for Javon Walker. No flag. Archuleta. Take a look at this. So Brett Favre goes back to pass. September 13th, 92. He came under relief in this game. It's batted away, and he makes the reception. So Brett Favre's first pass, caught by Brett Favre.
You always throw it to your favorite person.
First completion of his career. And as we said, he hasn't caught another one since. 2nd down and 10.
And he doesn't want to either.
Tony Fisher in the backfield. Fisher takes the toss. And Tony Fisher, who did yeoman work last week in relief of Green, off a Chad Clifton block, takes the ball into Ram territory. First down, 20-yard pickup.
Yeah, they had Nick Lucci out there in the wing. We talked about Mike Wall pulling earlier. That time it was the tackle, Chad Clifton. Watch number 76 right here. He's going to pull, and he's going to lead. Lucci gets the block out there. Clifton gets the block right there, and no one even touches Fisher. I mean, block, block, block. No one until right here.
Fisher again. Tony to the 30-yard line. Green Bay offensive line paving the way tonight. 165 yards on the ground and a terrific 7.8 yards per carry.
You know, and that's, again, as you just mentioned, that's without Ahman Green, which is very, very big, because the Packers didn't want to come into this game and not run. They didn't want to be one-dimensional or make themselves one-dimensional, and they sure haven't.
And that's caught. That's Donald Driver in traffic, makes the catch, picks up a few more, takes it to the 17. Butler makes the tackle.
You see Brett Favre on that play? That's typical Brett Favre. Look left, nothing out there, come back and throw it to the right. I mean, that's the way you play in the playground. I mean, you get out there and you pump to the left to get him out there. Watch him. Look to the left, pump to the left, then turn back and come back and throw it out there to the right. And he loves that. When he gives a pump, because he has such big, strong hands, he gives a full-blown pump.
200 yards through the air for Favre tonight. Now on the ground, this is Najee Davenport chugging his way for a gain of about 3.
And Fisher on the tackle.
Brett Favre, little montage through the years. 11 years ago and 8 years ago. Winning a Super Bowl. Braces. 4 years ago. Last season. A little bit of growth. Deanna enjoying every moment. 2nd down and 7. From the 15-yard line, Favre again, and that one may have been tipped and caught by William Henderson. And Henderson is taken down at the 16-yard line.
You know, you just think of all the memories that that he's given not only these Green Bay Packer fans, but fans all over the country. I mean, I think that like in football, Brett Favre's a guy. I mean, like Michael Jordan was in basketball, and don't you feel that he's that guy in football?
Well, we've talked about it. I mean, he's really the face of the National Football League. He's everything the NFL wants to be perceived as. 3rd down and 7 from the 15-yard line. He's going to run it. Ooh, and he just comes up a little short of the 1st down as Antoine Edwards, one-time Packer, came over from Miami recently, makes the stop.
And he's upset. He wanted that 1st down. There's no way that he wanted to give up that play and have to kick a field goal here. They're going to do it, though. And we talk about a competitor, competing all the time, going all the time. He knows that there's no way he can go feet first. He can't give himself up. He has to get the ball out there. He has to try and make the 1st down. He makes a move there, tries to get the ball over the 1st down marker and doesn't.
27-yard attempt now. Ryan Longwell with 8.5 to go in the 4th. Will make it a 2-touchdown game as the Green Bay Packers extend their advantage. It's the Packers 31 and the Rams 17. Refurbished Lambeau Field. They built this atrium. It's become very popular. People get married there. Parties there. You have bar mitzvahs there. I mean, you name it. They have it there. They can handle hundreds of people.
I was surprised yesterday when we came over here to visit with Mike Sherman, and I looked at the crowd down there and I said, "What's going on down there?" And they said, "Nothing. It's just open. It's like a shopping mall."
Great tourist attraction. So Aeneas Williams pinched nerve, and he appears to be done for the night. He was on the Rams bench as Arlen Harris brings it back to the 37-yard line. So Mark Bulger and the gang going back to work. Favre has 3 touchdown passes tonight. And Green Bay is on top by 4. The NFC West. Seattle has the lead. If the Rams lose tonight, they're 5-6. So Seattle maintains its lead. Arizona only 2 back despite losing again. So they're 4-7 are the Cardinals in what right now would have to be the weakest division in the league. But somebody's going to win it, and somebody's going to go to the playoffs from it.
I guess the 49ers are out of it. Huh?
I think so. Wow. What a disaster that's turning out to be. As Bruce makes the catch. And Bruce takes it to the 30-yard line where he's taken down by Michael Hawthorne. That's a 33-yard gain. So Bulger and the gang, and of course it's the Rams, and you know they can strike and they're not out of it.
Right, and you're going to see him in the slot here. And again, you have a bump there, and he does that short out and up, and there's a safety over here. So he hits him over the corner and in front of the safety. That's one of those, double coverage types of things where you have the guy tight, then you have a guy over the top, and Bulger hit him right between the two.
1st and 10 at the 30-yard line, halfway through the 4th quarter. Dump shovel. Falk. John, the Rams have been here before against Seattle in October. Down by 17 with less than 6 minutes to play. Got the win in overtime.
Yeah, so they know they can do it, and I think the Packers have the feeling they can do it. You would just think that they would start their no huddle stuff now. I would speed up the tempo a little now and not let the Packers get set.
Right, because they have only 1 timeout plus the 2-minute warning. Meanwhile, Bulger 402 yards tonight. That's like Davenport sneaked up to 100. Bulger 400 yards.
Well, it seems like he's been out there all night.
Yeah, that's true. He's thrown 46 passes. Flag is down. Bulger has the ball stripped away. Rams recover. Cledius Hunt was able to strip it. 97. Rams get it. And let's see about the penalty.
I think it's against the Rams, and I think it's against Torrey Holt. I think he was going forward before the ball was snapped.
That would be the third time.
The fumble was recovered by St. Louis. Illegal motion, offense. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, third down.
Big play by Newton to recover.
And again, I think Torrey Holt's having a little problem with concentration. I mean, some of these things that are happening to him, shouldn't be happening. As you say, that's the third time that he's had that type of problem.
Third time, it's a line of scrimmage call. That's going to make it third down and 17. Bulger slings it, and that's incomplete. Short pass intended for Holt, covered by Michael Hawthorne. 4th and 17, and they're really outdoors, out of field goal range here. I mean, Wilkins is good, and the field goal isn't going to do you that much good anyway. Still would leave you with a 2-possession deficit.
Yeah, Bulger didn't have a chance on that one. He had 2 of his receivers run into each other, and this is where he was trying to throw it. And he sees that collision there, and that's why he had to. I think he just kind of threw that one away. Torrey Holt got up and said, "Where in the heck were you going?"
So now the Rams are going to punt, and that means it's Kevin Stempke, the native of Green Bay, making his NFL debut. Low floater. Fair caught at the 16-yard line by Antonio Chapman. 6:15 remaining in regulation, and the Green Bay Packers have the football and a 31-17 lead at of their head-to-head win over Minnesota, and those two teams will meet again on Christmas Eve in Minneapolis. Green Bay right now trying to use the clock with some effectiveness. 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Najee Davenport to the 19, and it really is important for the Rams to hold him to a 3-and-out because they're down by 2 touchdowns, and they only have that 1 timeout. They had to burn 2 here in the second half.
I think Torrey Holt's still trying to figure out what happened on that pattern where he was running and he got knocked off by his own guy, and Mark Bulger's probably asking the same question. And then after they get to that, then they get, okay, what are we going to do the next time we get the ball?
Knocked off by Sean McDonald on that play. So Favre taking the play clock all the way down to the nub. 2nd down and 7 from the 18-yard line. And that'll be a first down as Ferguson moves it out to the 30, and that'll chew up more clock. Flag. End of the play at the 36-yard line. Favre indicating against the Rams.
You can't give that kind of cushion to a Brett Favre. I'll guarantee you he is going to see it.
Grabbing the face mask, defense, 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
'Tis true. You wonder, like on Thursday, are they in bed? They have like 104-degree temperature. Somebody should do a follow-up report on those guys. You always see them. And then what happens to them like 48 hours later? Do you miss school? Are you out for 2 weeks?
You miss life. I mean, are you even around anywhere tomorrow? What do you think those things around their necks do for them?
They hold the old Taylor. Najee Davenport gets up to the 48-yard line and beyond.
They always use the word that running back has gashed defenses. Najee Davenport has really gashed this Ram defense. I mean, these are huge holes, and they're all the same type of thing. See, the line is slanting this way. They kick out on this side, and then Najee Davenport has that hole there. It seems like, I don't know what the Rams are slanting for, why they just don't play straight up, because what are they going to take away by slanting? The Packers running game has just been taking advantage of their slant.
And Davenport is averaging a sparkling 8 yards per carry, which is twice what the general league average would be. Year after year, it's about 4.1. Here's Davenport again. And here's Michelle again.
Well, Al, you guys were talking about the respect everyone has for Brett Favre, that he's the face of the NFL, and I don't even think his opponents would argue with you there. Torrey Holt told me coming into the week he'd be watching Favre tonight. Now, I'm not sure Torrey is tonight, but he said everyone should watch Favre. You never know what he's going to do with the football. It's always a treat. And Aeneas Williams, who came into the league the same year as Favre, said when he sees Favre on tape this season, Favre looks 6 or 7 years younger. Of his streak, he said, it's absolutely phenomenal. And both of these guys said they've never, ever heard another player in this league say anything negative about Brett Favre, Al.
2nd down and 8, Brett now. Flipping it back to Fisher. You know, you look at some of the other streaks. Remember, Ron Jaworski had the streak, 116 games. So Brett Favre has exceeded that by 84. Which is the equivalent of more than 5 full seasons. In baseball, only 2 guys have played in more consecutive games in baseball at the moment than Favre has. And here's Brett tonight, a little capsule look at his evening. Flashbulbs popping as he came out. 3rd all-time in pass attempts. Breaks his tie with Marino in that category, 20 or more TD passes. 36 straight with a touchdown pass, 11 shy of Johnny Unitas, but you compare him to some of these other guys in other sports. 3rd and 6, and that's Javon Walker. Talking about baseball, only 2 guys right now in baseball, Miguel Tejada of the Orioles and Juan Pierre of the Florida Marlins, are the only guys over 200. What about the NBA? Gary Payton now with the Celtics and playing for Doc Rivers. Kevin Garnett, Timberwolves, Bruce Bowen of the Spurs are the only guys in that category. And Favre just keeps on rolling. It's 4th down and 1 here, and he's going to take the clock all the way down to the 2-minute warning. And the Rams will be left with just 1 timeout. And that was almost perfect because the play clock was set at 40. The play ended at about 2:40. And they're 120 seconds away from regaining first place. Coming up next will be the Autotrader.com postgame show. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Green Bay on the last play, and right now it's going to be 4th down. Green Bay has just challenged, which you can do even at the 2-minute warning. Once you're inside, you can. It's upstairs, and they're challenging the spot on the last play. They think they didn't get the spot they should have. So Mike Sherman figures, let's take a peek at this. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah, I'd like to say that Mike Sherman has done an excellent job of mixing up his play calling tonight. You know that since he's been calling plays, and that was right after the Tennessee game, if the Packers win tonight, his record is 6-0 as a play caller. I don't know where that would be close to anything.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Anyway, you know he's had great mixture. They've run the ball 27 times, and they've been productive for 191 yards, and they passed 27 times for 215 yards. I think when you talk about and look at offensive balance, they've really had it tonight.
And he's done it without Ahman Green, who next to Favre would be his most valuable offensive player. So they've done it as Walker gets taken down, and it's going to be 4th down when we come back, or when Tony Corrente comes out from under the hood. Sherman took over that play calling, and a lot of it had to do, and the timing was interesting because Tom Rossley, the offensive coordinator, who had been calling the plays, had an angioplasty the week after the Tennessee game, but there were some murmurings before that maybe Mike would go back, and Mike's pedigree, of course, is on offense, to go back to play calling. He kind of poo-poos that. He said, no, you know, with Tom's condition, I thought it was good for me to come back in. But in any event, I mean, how do you not call the plays now if you're undefeated?
Right, then you have to, and it's been helpful. I talked to Brett Favre about it, and he said they're the same plays. They didn't change any plays, but
after
the timing is different.
The ruling on the field stands. It'll be 4th down and 1. Green Bay will be charged with a timeout.
So Green Bay has 2. They'll try to convert here. There's Tom Rossley upstairs. And the offensive coordinator will look down now and observe a 4th down play. Green Bay can, with a conversion here, just about right a finish, because the Rams have only One timeout remaining. And Najee Davenport will get the first down, and he is inside the 20, and he will get the touchdown. On 4th and 1, and 178 yards on the ground for Najee Davenport.
We used the words Najee Davenport gashing the defense. He gashed him again there on 4th and 1. He's been doing the running. The offensive line has been doing an excellent job of blocking, and his fullback William Henderson has made some big blocks tonight.
Well, they draft Davenport. They've got Green at 218 pounds, and they've got Davenport close to 250 for a change of pace. And with Green out tonight, Davenport has a career night. Longwell for the extra point, and Green Bay leads by 21.
Let's watch it again. This time it's Nick Lucci, number 22, and the left guard, number 68, Mike Wall. Watch the kick out there. Watch Mike Wall and the job that they do there. That is gashing a defense. Rich Cody's the only guy that could make the tackle, and he misses it. You get a 245-pound running back running square through holes like that, he is going to gain a lot of yards.
So, John, we've got to deal with a horse trailer. You got two ways to look at it. I mean, Favre does something tonight that nobody ever thought was possible, start 200 consecutive games. Davenport from the wings, 178 yards on the ground. So I guess, you know, with Brett, it might have to supersede it. I don't know what we do, but if you put Brett on the trailer, what do you do with Davenport, on the pony trailer?
Yeah, I don't know, because here's what I know. I'm down in the parking lot before the game having a brat, not bothering anyone standing there. Some fan yells at me, just put Brett Favre on the horse trailer right now because you know you're going to anyway. So I said, okay, I'm eating a brat. See, and I look up at the guy and say, okay, you got a deal. He's on the horse trailer. So I think that was done before we even started.
So this is like an election in Ukraine, and in other words, it was predetermined. Now we'll have to go back and look at it again.
It wasn't just one fan; it was the masses. They were kind of like all up there, meeting a brat like this. I say, okay, you got it. So we kind of committed ourselves before this thing started.
Before the game, Arlen Harris. Flag is thrown, and we can tell you that Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Wendy's Wild Mountain Chicken and Bacon Cheeseburger. It's better here. Lowe's, where you'll find all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, improving home improvement. And Nissan, everything we touch, we shift. And everything we shift, we try to make better. So, John, what do you think? Do we need election reform then? If people are going to start putting guys on the horse trailer before the game, do we need some sort of reform? I mean, there's a lot of soft money coming in here, is the way I look at it.
It's only soft money in Green Bay, though. They can't do it. I mean, if someone else, like if you think you can do it in Seattle, you think you can do it in Tennessee, you think you can do it in Miami, no, you can't do it. In Green Bay, anything goes. It's okay. We'll take the soft money deal.
All right. I'll go for that.
Makes sense to me.
Oh, yeah, especially with Brett Favre.
Especially after a brat or two.
What'd you wash it down with?
Nothing. I just let it sink. But the masses are staying here too. I mean, these are the same people that were yelling that they wanted Brett Favre. You know, it's 200 consecutive games. They wanted him on the trailer, you know, like at 7 o'clock tonight.
So Brett will go on the trailer.
Offside, defense, unabated to the quarterback, 5-yard penalty, repeat, remains first down.
1st and 5. Brett looking up at his wife after another Green Bay victory here. Deanna, as she always is, at Lambeau Field upstairs. And going home happy once again. This will be his 82nd home win in 100 home games. Some of those played in Milwaukee when Green Bay played there. It'll be 2nd down and 5. You know, but for Davenport, what do? Do we maybe, can we put a picture of Davenport like on the hood for a week?
No, no. Okay. Davenport will have another day. I mean, he'll have his day. Brett Favre's going to have another day too. I don't think he's going anywhere either. But Davenport will understand this one. That when a guy does something that is so exceptional, like Brett Favre has done with 200 consecutive games, I don't think that he has to share anything on that night.
Well, Brett tonight, 3 touchdown passes, and once again wasn't sacked, and that pass is juggled, not caught. Torrey Holt was out of bounds. He was on the stripe.
I think Al Harris has done a heck of a job too.
There's Brett. We talked about 200 games, so that includes tonight. He will be 82 and 18. Of course, most of those here, a few of those in Milwaukee before they stop playing a couple of games a season in Milwaukee, and 50 and 50 on the road.
The fans are down below yelling horse trailer, horse trailer.
Yeah.
Keep your promise.
3rd and 5 from the 19-yard line. And it's Isaac Bruce. Stat padding time. Isaac's had a nice night tonight in terms of the numbers. 8 grabs, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. Well, the Rams now find themselves under 500. Next week, they'll get the 49ers in St. Louis. And next week, as McDonald makes the catch and goes out of bounds, next week, Green Bay goes to Philadelphia.
Now, that's going to be a tough one, and you wonder if they'll have Ahman Green back for that one, or maybe that's the reason they decided to hold Ahman Green out this time.
10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That's the benefit of holding Ahman Green out tonight. I mean, you rest them, you're going to get a victory anyway. Davenport, a coming-of-age night for him. I mean, it's all good now for Mike Sherman.
Right, and you know one thing, that you can run the ball against that Eagle defense. So I don't know that Mike Sherman was thinking that but I don't believe that Mike Sherman all week ever thought that Ahman Green was going to play tonight.
From the 23-yard line. And that's Bruce making the catch over the middle, losing the ball. Picked up by Michael Hawthorne. And Hawthorne will go to the end zone for the touchdown. And Isaac Bruce not only had the ball taken away for a second time, but he's on all fours at the 35-yard line. And there's a flag down. Was he down?
Oh, yeah, well, the ball is coming out as his left knee hits.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, unnecessary celebration. Green Bay, this 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Well, that's about as bad as it can get for Bruce. You lose the ball, your leg gets contorted, you limp off the field, the other team scores a touchdown, and it's 26 degrees. That's a bad sequence. And the way Bruce is going off the field, that may be the next Rams' concern.
Yeah, I think Sharper got Bruce before that ball got there. He was coming across, and I think Darren Sharper clotheslined him.
Yeah, and his leg was contorted as he went down as well. Longwell will pick the extra point. The Packers tonight have run back 2 fumbles for touchdowns, and they've been the bookends, the first touchdown and presumably the last touchdown. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, Al, we've been watching Brett Favre on this incredible night and seeing shots of his wife Deanna fighting the breast cancer. The two have been together since high school. And when I talked to her on the phone tonight before the game about this streak of 200 wins, she said, yes, it's incredible. Most people look at it as 200 games, she said. I know the heartache, the physical, mental, psychological, emotional drain that he goes through every single week. That's what I see. But she said what's even more meaningful to her is the strides he's made, the tremendous strides, she said, as a human being. She said, he's become the family man we all knew he could be. That is so far more important to me. He's a better husband, a better father than he's ever been. And those are the things that are important to me. She said, I know the trophies are there. I know he's he's got the ring, but I don't notice those things. I know Brett, the guy, and that's the most important thing to me at this point, not the streak. Al?
There's so many things about Brett Favre. I was on the field before the game. You know, Vince Tobin, who used to coach the Arizona Cardinals, longtime member of the Bears organization. Very big with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. They do great work with kids who are ill, and he says, you know, you'll bring a kid out here every week, and it's not that Brett goes through any cursory thing. I mean, he embraces the child, spends a lot of time with him, doesn't want any publicity about it, but you know, it's just, he's a guy. Look, you know what he is? He's a guy with a big heart.
Yeah, I saw him do that on Saturday, Al. He went over, and there were some Make-A-Wish kids there. He went over and by himself and spent quality time with them, and you know, talked to him and asked him questions and went back and forth. It just wasn't the cursory walk-by autograph. I mean, he really gave of himself to those kids.
And we've been talking about Brett. We have, you know, through the years and what he is, and the one demon when he was addicted to painkillers and he was on Vicodin and all that. And he confronted that head on, got the help he needed for that. Overcame that, and on he goes.
And I think those are the things that Deanna was telling Michelle about. You know, that I mean, he's a real man. He's a husband. He's a father. He's all those things now, in addition to being a great quarterback.
And now the Packers are doing nothing but putting big exclamation points on this one. Kabir Bajia-Biamila with a sack. They run back 2 fumbles for touchdowns. They're on their way to their 6th consecutive win, and what a difference a few weeks makes. We walked out of here after Tennessee had killed them on October 11th, and tonight the Green Bay Packers are on top of the NFC North.
And I think Bajia-Biamila has been a guy that has played a lot better since that time. He's playing more, not dropping as much.
Flag is thrown. This is Steven Jackson. And on the other side of the coin, John, I mean, the Rams, you still don't know what they are at this point in the season.
No, you know, they can look very, very good, and on the next play they can look very, very bad.
Defense number 91. This penalties decline. The result for the play, first down.
And there seems to be very little middle, and I think the middle would be where consistency would be.
So they're still in the race despite being under 500. They get the 49ers. Then they're at Carolina. They're at Arizona. And they end the season with Philadelphia on a Monday night and the Jets at home.
Yeah, but if they're going to really be in the race and be a true playoff team and those things, they have to turn this thing around. Yeah. I mean, they're going to have to start eliminating some of the dumb things they do.
Well, Mike Martz last week said his offensive line was pitiful. The special teams were revolting. He wasn't mincing words, and he won't next week either.
You know, he's tried that for a couple of weeks, and none of that stuff has worked.
And that pass is incomplete, and that'll write a finish to this one. In Green Bay, Brett Favre, 3 touchdown passes. Najee Davenport, 178 yards on the ground. Packers have won 6 straight. 7-4 are the Green Bay Packers. Mike Martz's team goes back to St. Louis for the mark of 5-6. Green Bay wins it 45-17, and stick around now because coming up next, the AutoTrader.com postgame show when we come back to Lambeau Field.